Ready for question of the month, guys?
Oh, yeah.
October, Halloween, getting a little spooky. I want to know what's the scariest thing that's ever happened to you in a theater.
Dance of the Vampire.
Oh.
Not because it was scary, but because I realized it was still going to go on for another 2 hours and change after the first few minutes.
I remember doing an interview during a rehearsal period of one of the vampire musicals. It must have been the Anne Rice adaptation that Bernie Taupin did, and the fire department was there. As I guess they have to give a permit to any show that's using live flame on stage. So I'm always a little bit, conscious of where the exit rows are, or where the exit doors are. Always conscious, of fastening my seatbelt before a show like that starts.
Or maybe making sure it's not fastened because you want to be able to bolt if the theater goes on fire. All right. Yeah. So those are both scary things. I'm going to go a little bit differently. In high school, I was doing a production of a show that was on a raked stage, and after the show ended and the lights go down, I think everybody else went off that side of the stage, and I was like, I could go off this side of the stage. And then I realized as I got to the end of the rake stage, I didn't know if I was by steps or anything. So I thought I'll just put my foot down and see if the steps are there, and if they're not, I'll turn the other way. And when I put my foot down, everything else just followed, and I fell off the stage.
So you actually walked yourself off the side of a rake stage?
I did. Is that?
Well, but I'm going to say it wasn't actually scary because it just happened. You didn't know that it was happening. It may have been painful afterwards, or embarrassing, humiliating.
No one else saw it. It was dark, so that was good until I shared it.
I think I once saw a show stopped and someone had to be pulled out of the theater. Although maybe I'm confusing a story of mine with Elaine Stritch at Liberty. I was there in the St. James the night that Patty Lupone stopped the show to yell at the audience member with the camera. Okay. And the famous. It's at Gypsy. Yeah. And that at first was a little scary until you figured out what was going on.
Or a revelry. Just revelry.
Oh, it turned out to be wonderful.
Yes.
But scary at first.
So let's see what the rest of the theater community said scared them, spooked them when they were in a theater.
Scariest thing, when I was doing a little night music on Broadway, there was one scene where my pants were down during a scene with Petra, and I had these period boxers, underwear made, and one day I pulled my pants down for the scene and got on top of the chaise lounge, and I was like, this feels really different, and I looked down and I had no boxers on.
I got yelled at before my weight loss. I got yelled at by a woman for being too fat. She couldn't see through me.
I once tried to unexpectedly make my way to stage right, where I had to make an entrance from the other side of the stage, coming up from the cross-round from downstairs. I had no idea where I was. I couldn't find it. I had a limited amount of time to get there, and I was absolutely terrified.
Basically previews, but if you're in a train wreck of a show, like I was in Lestat, that vampire musical, they would rewrite songs every day. We would learn them during the afternoon and perform them that night. That was pretty terrifying on a nightly basis.
Well, I was on the national tour of Jersey Boys, and I was in San Francisco, and I had never been really out to the West Coast at all. So I experienced my first ever earthquake on stage, mid-show, about 10 minutes after my character entered.
Oh, forgetting my lines.
And I was doing a production of the musical Curtains, and we were in our out-of-town tryout in Los Angeles, and there was a part where I was supposed to descend on a big globe from the ceiling, and the cable got caught and got stuck, and my head got caught underneath the ironwork of the globe coming down, and they had to stop the show.
Rat ran over my foot in the subway. That's the scariest thing that could happen any day of the year.
It was actually doing Beaches with Mara Davi, who plays Mona in the show. Not Mona, Joan. And I was on stage at opening night, and I held out this big long note of my first big ballad, and my eyes rolled back in my head, and I passed out on stage.
So Rob, Jesse, thank you so much again for joining me on this episode of Row J. We'll see you next time right here in Row J.
Give my regards to Brian.